Give me one of the phones. No one's online. We just wait for everybody to arrive.
Oh yeah, live.
Oh, I'm still getting some notification. Is that true or is it not? Let's wait. We've got about 3 more minutes to go. There's a little something I did online to post. I don't think I've sent it to you. To say we are live now. Okay, that's fine then. Please put on my page. I had, if you used my picture, and all I did was something about.
Are you live now? So I can't come across.
No.
You fly over the chair.
Right, we've got 1 minute to go. I turn off the. Let me see who's on. Hi Bernice, I see you're online. Thank you for joining me. I wish I could see the comments on the page. Let's have a look. I might have to just use this one. But all my logins are on this. It doesn't matter, we can just keep going. Okay, what time is it? We'll start in 30 seconds. We will not wait, we'll just proceed when it's time. Please comment, let me know if you're here so we can begin in a few seconds. give me yours. Is yours on? Keep yours on so you're just playing.
Yeah, mine's on.
Hi Bex Flavor. I see you. Okay, I think I'm just going to begin. Hi Jennifer Trimacy. Hi Boreas DIY. Hi, we're beginning in just 2 seconds, okay? We work on time here, so we want to start on time. So if anyone misses anything, then that's them. Thank you, Boris DIY, for the compliment about my hair. Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. Thank you for arriving on time. Okay, thank you. We're just going to start with the session outline, which you can already see on the screen right there. And today, the session is going to involve us. First, we'll talk about the ground rules because we're dealing with a very sensitive-ish topic. So we'll go through a few ground rules, and then we'll talk about the facilitator, me, and then we'll go into why homeschool, and then I'll go through a few of the sessions for this course. I've coined it because if we are going to learn something from this, it's almost like a course. And then we're going to talk about how to start homeschooling, and we'll have questions and answers, okay? But please don't leave questions and answers to the end because I want it to be as interactive as possible. So keep the questions coming during the session. And this is my first live, so I'll do my best to keep answering your questions and reading as we go and make it very interactive. So I don't want to be the only one speaking all the time. Keep commenting, keep telling me. If you like something I've said, just give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a compliment. You know, give me some fans so I can keep going. So that's the session outline for today. Right, so if you see me doing this, it means I'm just navigating my screen. And let's get that off. Excellent. Right, so the ground rules for today. There won't be a fire. If there is a fire, sorry. If there's a network cut off, I'll do my best to get back on. But remember, today we're talking about something involving children, and children always come first in everything we do. So as much as I want you to ask questions and to be involved, please do your very best to keep you and your children as anonymous as possible. And because confidentiality comes first, I don't want children's names or names of your child's school or anything as such. Just be very general, okay? I want you to ask questions specific to you. However, try and make those things that will help us identify who you are anonymous. Thank you very much. So we can all stay safe, because the internet is a very big place and anybody could be looking. These days, there are many harmful people around. So let's remain anonymous as much as we can. Also, let's try and make it as interactive, like I mentioned earlier. So be comfortable. You're already in your own home, so be comfortable. Ask questions throughout, okay? So ask questions as we go. There will be a Q&A at the end, so if you think maybe I might answer your question, then you can leave it till the end. However, if it's relevant to what I'm speaking about, then please ask it as we go, and I'll be more than happy to answer it as we go, because it might be on your mind, but someone else might have the same question. So you'll be helping others by asking questions. Also share, please. That's part of the ground rule. If you are here today, please share this live stream wherever you are. Share it to all your social media platforms, because people probably do want to join us, but they are running a little bit late. So your sharing will be a reminder. So on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, please share the link. Something I've not been able to do because I'm sat here talking to you. So you're able to just quickly press share, copy the link and post it out there to get people to this channel to join us and to learn something today. like I mentioned, we will always start on time, okay? So we will always start at 6 o'clock on the dot. I will not wait for anybody. Even if it's just me and YouTube, we will continue because we like to be on time. So we're starting right. And then also, because this is a free service, I am offering my services for free. I'm quite expensive, you know, but I'm offering it for free, which means the least you can do is give me the thumbs up, press the like button. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, and comment as we go, okay, and share it out as well. That's all I'm asking from you. Nothing comes for free nowadays, but this is absolutely 100% free. So please support your sister and share me, like, comment, subscribe, okay? Right, now let's begin. Who am I? And what qualifies me to be having this session today about how to support your child at home. I'm a teacher at first, okay? So by qualification, I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher for about 7-8 years, and I'm a primary teacher. So I've worked in two schools, 2 outstanding schools only. So everything I know and every practice I know is of outstanding quality. Also, both schools I worked in are in inner London, so we work with very challenging pupils, and the demographic is very multicultural in both schools I've worked in. But in my training schools, I also trained in 2 other schools. They were also outstanding. So if you're here today and you are learning something, just know you are learning outstanding practice, okay? Also, I'm a mentor, so you would have seen in my promo that I mentor trainee teachers. So trainee teachers are people who want to become teachers and they're basically on a university course. So I mentor them, I help train them, they watch my lessons, I observe their lessons and all of that, and help them develop and become outstanding teachers as well. And I mentor NQTs, which are newly qualified teachers as well. So once they finish training, when they become teachers for the first year, I also mentor them to make sure they are along the right path. You know, I help them to get better and to develop their practice through and through. Also, I'm a SENCO. So what that is a special educational needs coordinator. And what we do is we liaise with the local authority for children with special educational needs. And if a child is identified as needing extra help within the school, in terms of their specific needs, whether it's autism, dyslexia, whatever their needs are, as a SENCO, I have to find help, okay? As much as we can do a lot in school as teachers, sometimes it takes that little bit extra help from the outside, whether it's an educational psychologist, whether it's a speech and language therapist. So we can get some outside agencies to come in school to help that child to achieve their best, because we do believe every child can reach their full potential with the right help in place. So as a SENCO, that's my job, okay? So I wear that hat on my head with pride, because it's my aim to make sure every child is meeting their learning ability and where they can be in life, okay? So that's part of being a SENCO, and I'm the inclusion lead. And within that, you have the whole SEN department and making sure every child is included, regardless of their ability, their gender, their ethnicity, their race, regardless of anything. Everyone is included as best as they can in the school. So that's who I am. And also I'm a mother of two very young babies. Yes, let's not go into how I managed to get 2 under 2, but I have 2 under 2. So as a mother, I do understand, and as a wife with a career, I do understand now, how do parents juggle having children, and then now because of the pandemic, children have had to be home, which means you are now managing them at home, managing your careers, doing everything else we like to do as parents, and it's quite challenging. And it's not only because of the pandemic that I want to do this homeschooling, because now that the pandemic and lockdown has been eased up a little bit, we still need to make sure we are schooling our children at home. So I hope the pandemic has actually opened our eyes to the need to know what's happening in our children's lives in terms of their education. And this is why I'm doing this training now, so parents don't think, okay, pandemic, I'm going to homeschool my child. Now schools may be opening in September, that's it. No, this homeschooling training is so parents, we know what is going on in our children's lives. We know what we can do at home to get the best out of them. And this is why I am doing this training today. So why should you homeschool or support your child's learning at home? And I'm going to define, whenever I say homeschool, I'm going to define what I mean. Because there are two types of homeschooling. There's homeschooling, where some parents actually take their children out of school full time to only teach them at home. But for today, when I say homeschool, what I mean is actually teaching your child at home, even though they are still in full-time education. So that's what I mean by homeschool for the purpose of this video. So why is it important to support your child at home and to homeschool? Well, as a teacher and being in the education sector for a very long time, children who learn more at home tend to have higher attainment. A very high proportion of children who seem to have a lot more adult input at home in terms of their learning and development there's a correlation between their attainment and the supports they are getting at home. So what that means is doing something at home, supporting your child's learning at home, is actually going to positively impact on their attainment and what they learn in school. So this is why it's important we do more at home to help support our children. Also, homeschooling at home or supporting your child's learning at home helps to embed that culture of learning. So a child doesn't think, actually, I only learn when I'm in school. When I come home, I play and I do whatever I want. But when we do things at home, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour a day at home, that little bit extra embeds in that child that actually learning is continuous and is not just reserved for school. But also when you come home, you can learn. You can learn when you are shopping. You can learn in the car. Learning is not just sitting your child down at a table and teaching like the typical teacher style like we think. Learning can happen in many ways. So it helps to embed that continuous culture of learning in our children. And they start to take ownership of that as they grow up. And also it enforces structure and discipline at home. And there are so many times I come across children whose parents will come to me in school and say, oh, can you talk to my child? Can you help me? Because this child, and when I come to school, I'm being told this child is very well behaved, but at home I'm finding it difficult to manage their behavior or to manage them. It's not because teachers in school are scary, so the child feels the need to behave and just sit still. It's simply because of the structure of the school day. The school day, the child comes in knowing first thing is maths, next thing is this. They know exactly what's happening. And as a child, for you, it's quite settling because you know what's coming next. And also schools have a very good behavior management system, which helps to enforce some level of discipline. And this is why you find that some children in school, they are well behaved, but when they come home, you are surprised that the teacher's telling you all these good things, but at home you don't see it. It's because of the structure and discipline that schools have. And it's important that if we start to also reinforce these things in our homes, children will be a lot more settled at home as well. The majority of pupils will be settled. So this is why you should homeschool, because it not only helps the academic side, but it also helps that behavior and that development, and that child will be a happy child because they are learning and they're happy, and it's not only in school, it's at home, it's everywhere else. Okay, so this is why you should start to be a bit more involved and in terms of supporting your child at home and homeschooling them as well. Okay, so let's go into what we are then doing let's go into how I come in now. And the sessions for this course, I'm calling it a course because we're going to follow a certain structure like I've just been talking about. So the sessions, this is what I've got in mind. And these are not going to be just back and forth, okay? So I'm just reading and checking if I have any questions. Any questions, please comment Ask questions, say things, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. I want this to be very interactive. So I've got my phone next to me here and I'm reading as I go. So if I'm saying something and you want to ask a question, ask the question so we can be very interactive. I don't want this to be just a one-way street. It's me and it's you. So let's do this together and let's learn together. The more you ask, the more you are going to learn. So the sessions that I've got coming up, we're not cramming everything into today. We are going to take this homeschooling journey. It's a journey we're going on together. We're going to take it a day at a time, okay? So we are going to have it every Sunday at 6 p.m. So I hope you can all join me then. And the sessions I've got penciled down, and I'm saying penciled because I'm open to change things and adapt things as we go, and also in light of your suggestions and what you want. So this is why it's important you ask questions. I'll either answer it today, and if it's something I think actually a lot of people want to know about, we can address at a later date as well. Okay? Are we sharing? So today is the introduction session. Some of the sessions I'm hoping to do in the future is how to support learning in English. And English is very broad. It comes as reading, and even reading alone is reading comprehension, is reading with fluency. There's grammar as part of English. There's handwriting. The English is very broad. But at the moment, I've got English in one. So if I get feedback, you want that broken down, we could break that up into different sessions. I'm also going to help you look into how to support learning in mathematics. And maths is one that I've received a lot of questions about. So we'll be looking at maths, and there is a way to teach maths that you can do at home without buying things. You know, sometimes we feel like, oh, in schools have deans and all these mathematical equipment you don't have at home. You can do it at home for free. And this session, I'm hoping I can equip you with tools that are absolutely free. You can do at home, or you can just make for very cheap. You need just paper, just basic things, so we can minimize the spending, because money is hard right now, especially with this pandemic. People have been out of work. So hopefully I'll be giving you some free resources, give you some websites you can also use if that's something you'd like to use, because I know a lot of you are modern parents. We like the digital element of things. So I will be giving you some digital suggestions as well. We will also be looking into how to support learning in foundation subjects, which is other subjects like science, geography, history. So we'll be putting those together, because there's also a way to make that learning experience enjoyable for children, where you might be thinking, I hate geography, I don't know history, I don't know much about this. These sessions, I'm assuming that my audience are starting from scratch. You know, I'm going to make the assumption that we don't have any historical knowledge, no geographical knowledge. So I'm going to be doing it in steps and teaching you. You don't have to have any historical knowledge or scientific knowledge to be able to support your child at home. And that's what I hope I will achieve through these sessions. Also, we're going to look at how to support SEN learning, so special education needs. So as a Senko, I know, especially within the community I come from, SEN is something we don't talk about. It's something we brush under a carpet and ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. But it does exist, and as a Senko, I'm hoping that I can support parents a little bit more. So you'll be able to ask these questions, and I'll be able to give you some tools, some things that can help your child, because every child can achieve their highest potential. It just takes the right support. So hopefully we'll have a session about supporting children with special educational needs as well. And then there will be a session where maybe it's just a review of the session so far and questions and answers. So even though I've already mentioned that I want you to ask the questions as we go, I also want you to, there will be a session for questions and answers, but we will ask the questions as we go, so keep asking. But I will reserve a session for any detailed questions you may ask or think about later after the sessions. So I'm always open to that. So Selena is saying, I would love year 1 and year 3 learning. Excellent. So that sounds like primary. So we would definitely be looking into primary learning for children. So thank you, Selena. I'll make note of that as well and make sure we address primary learning. And in my examples today, we will look at primary learning then, Selena, because Selena wants primary learning. So some of the examples I'll give you, I'll try to use primary learning as an example. And that's what my audience wants, because Selena has spoken up. So thank you. Thumbs up. And thank you to everyone who's given me a thumbs up so far. And those are the sessions. So let's start today. As a parent, before I entered education, and I'm assuming we're all very new to homeschooling, and you want to teach your child and support them at home, what are you going to teach? Where do you start? Your child is coming home every day, and sometimes the curriculum changes so much that there are new ways that teachers are teaching things, and a lot of parents think, I don't know how to do this maths. When I was in school, we counted with fingers. Now you are telling me to use this mathematical mastery. And I know a lot of you have had maths mastery skills. You don't know where to start. What do you do as a parent? And how do you start supporting your child at home? So in order to start, you need to understand where the teachers are even getting all that information they are teaching from. And I'm about to show you the documents that teachers are using, and don't be alarmed by it, okay? The teachers, we always teach, everything being taught is from the national curriculum, unless your child is below the age year 1. So reception, nursery, they will use the early years foundation frame. But Sister Celine has asked a question relating to primary, so I'm going to use primary as an example. As a teacher in a primary school, if I want to plan a lesson and teach a lesson, I go straight to the national curriculum, which is a government document that basically says every child needs to be able to do this. And the national curriculum is broken down into so many different sections. There's one for maths, there's one for English, there's one for reading, they've got it for science. So there is a guidance for teachers on how to teach different subjects. And that's where teachers go. And I'm going to show that to you in a minute. But I don't want you to think you need to understand that document. But sometimes knowing where all that learning is coming from helps you to understand. And you can pick a few bits about what you want to do with that document. So teachers are using the national curriculum. And where are they getting it from? This national curriculum document is open and it's online, and anybody and everyone can access it. Yes, you can access it today, right now. You can access the national curriculum. And I'm going to show that you an example using primary year 1. Okay, so as I'm coming closer, I just want to show you this video that we are praying works. Let me get that into the middle for you. Get the screen even bigger. Right. And I hope the sound works. So if you open your Google browser and you type in national curriculum, so if it's Key Stage 1 or Key Stage 2 you're looking for, type that in. So I've put Key Stage 1 here with the maths. So on Google you usually get some ads, but you want the one that says gov.uk. So that second one here says National Curriculum in England, Mathematics Programme of Study. So it will take you to the gov.uk website, and as I'm scrolling through, you see that the first two on the screen, I want the second one because it specifically says Key Stages 1 and 2. The first one is also the correct one, but I'll give you all other curriculums, but you want the Key Stage 1 and 2 if that's the one your child if that's your child's year groups one. So as I scroll, you've got the contents page there, and in this case I'm looking for Key Stage 1, years 1 and 2. So that was page 5. So I'm going to scroll down to page 5. So it says Key Stage 1, years 1 and 2. So that's the one I'm looking for. And the first page is just instructions and a bit of guidance.
So on the second page, it says Year 1 Program of Study. And as you can see, it says number and place value. So within the maths curriculum for number and place value, this is what Year 1s need to know. So it says pupils should be taught to count to and across 100 forwards and backwards, beginning with 0 or 1. So these are just a few bullet points of what they need to know. And under that, you've got notes and guidance again. So these notes and guidance are just to tell you how to do it. Again, the next page, you have addition and subtraction and what the child needs to know in terms of addition and subtraction within a whole year of Year 1. And there's notes and guidance there. Again, you see multiplication and division. And that's just one bullet point they need to know for multiplication and division for the whole year. And then below that, you see that, again, there are notes and guidance there. And then coming up next, as we scroll through, so for different areas of number, you have bullet points of the statutory requirements, and then there's notes and guidance. Again, here we go, there's measurements, what they need to know about measurements, and notes and guidance. So just remember, this document is there for public to view. You know, if you're a trained teacher, you know how to use it, but it's there for you to view as well.
So that's the route to the national curriculum. You don't have to use it, but it's there. Sometimes it's good to know that knowledge is there. And as a teacher, when you go to the Year 1 section and it's telling you that's what a child needs to know for the whole year, it's up to you to say, okay, I'm going to teach number autumn 1. I'm going to teach geometry in autumn 2. I'm going to teach shape in spring term, okay? But where you come in is different schools will give to you what they are teaching your child in which term. So what schools make is we call it a curriculum leaflet. Some schools call it curriculum leaflet. Sometimes it comes as a flyer. And that's what schools will give you as a parent. And it'll say, oh, in autumn 1, we are learning about number. So you know that has been pulled from the national curriculum. So if your school tells you we are learning number, then that's what you know at home you need to support your child in during that term. However, if you think actually my child is already secured in it, getting to the end. So that national curriculum document is there. You can look at it, or you follow your school's scheme where you are able to look at the curriculum leaflets and you know what your school is teaching your child. And I'm going to show you what a curriculum leaflet looks like, because some parents are probably thinking, I've not seen one come home. All schools will either give it to you by paper or it'll be on the school's website. And I've gone online and I've searched different schools, and their website is your first point of contact. You'll be very surprised about how much information is on the school's websites. So when you go to the school's website, it will have each year group. You go to the year group and it'll say, oh, this term we are learning this. We are learning that in English. We are learning this in science. So as a parent, if you're thinking about what do I teach my child, where do I start? You start by following what the school is doing. So this is an example of a curriculum leaflet. So let's see if I can get that opened for you. Because the curriculum leaflet, so this is a school I've searched, and I'm keeping the school's identity as anonymous as I can. Let's try and bring this into the middle. Technology, bear with me. I'm not sure why this one is doing this. Just a minute. Right, here we go. Let's get that large for you. So this is a curriculum leaflet for Year 1 in a school.
So you can see across the left there are the subjects, and across the top you've got autumn 1, autumn 2, so different half terms. So if I zoom in, for the purpose of this video, we're going to focus on just maths, which is the role that I'm highlighting in yellow. So within maths, you'll see that as we get closer, for autumn 1 in maths, this school is going to teach number to 10, addition and subtraction, and shape and patterns. So for that first half term, that's all the school's going to teach. Again, if you look on the second column, autumn 2, for the second half term, they're going to teach them number to 20 and addition and subtraction. So if you scroll across, you see all the other subjects within maths for the other half terms, and you would see the same thing for all the other subjects.
I'm sure my end outros for these videos are reminding you, please subscribe. So if you've not subscribed yet, do go and subscribe. If you haven't given this video a thumbs up yet, please go and give it a thumbs up. Give me a like so I know you are enjoying what you are watching. So that was an example curriculum leaflet which showed you what we looked at from the national curriculum, which was this great big document over 100 pages, and the school has simply taken autumn 1. They're saying we're going to teach just counting to 10. So the national curriculum might tell you counting to 100 for a child in year 1, but your school's only teaching them to count to 10. So all you need to do at home is to teach that child to count to 10 for the first half term. And usually half terms are a month and a half. So you've got a month and a half to just keep going over counting to 10 with your child at home. And how do you do that? We'll be reviewing maths learning in another session. So I'll be going into detail how you teach these things. So when you see the national curriculum, don't panic. What I'm trying to show you is it's for a whole year, and your school would have done that extra bit of work for your child where they've broken them into different terms. So by using the school's curriculum leaflet, you would know what your child is going to be taught within a certain term or a half term. So this is an example curriculum leaflet. So hopefully I've given you some homework for today where you can go and research into your child's school's curriculum leaflet, what it looks like. Go on their school's website, since some schools may be closed or you might not be able to access everything fully. You can go on the school's website, browse your child's school website, and have a look at their year group and what they should be learning. That way you can implement those things at home within all the different subjects. So I hope this was an eye-opener and a way you can start to teach your child from home and to support their learning further. Because I know sometimes knowing where to go or how to start is usually the problem. And once you get started, you will be okay. Any questions so far? Let's have a look. So we've just looked at the national curriculum and we've looked at curriculum leaflets. I'm going to give a pause here. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions about curriculum and where to start with the national curriculum or the curriculum leaflets? Remember, you can keep the comments coming as we go, okay? Right, let's continue. You can keep bringing the questions and the comments, and I'll keep having a look. Okay, so now that I've given you some, and also another place you can use to start. So whilst the term is going, and if your child is learning about number, something that teachers will share with you are targets, and we're all used to getting targets from schools. These are things that actually we can use to also drive learning from home, because those targets will tell you your child was able to do this, your child was able to do that, but they need to do more of this. So you know that even though you're looking at number, your child was able to count to 10 forwards, maybe it's coming back in 10 that they need help with. So a lot of us think, oh, my child can count 0 to 10, tick, but there are more than one way of learning something to master that piece of learning. So instead of going upwards and learning more things, a lot of time children need that depth of learning. So it's going sideways. Okay, and learning that depth, being able to apply that skill in different ways. So make sure you use your child's targets from school as well to further drive that learning at home. So I talked about structure and why some children behave more in school than they do at home. Let's have a look. Okay, so we've got a question here. Very, very good question. It says, what if my child is special SEN, so special educational needs, and working at a lower level than stated in the national curriculum? This is an excellent question, because if a child has special educational needs, sometimes, and this is what I want to address as well, sometimes if a child has special educational needs, it doesn't mean that they struggle in all subjects or they find all subjects difficult. So their difficulty will be in a specific area. Sometimes you may have a pupil who in English, their handwriting is not that great, or they're struggling with reading. However, when it comes to maths, they are absolutely amazing. So having SEN does not mean you absolutely have needs in all areas. But coming back to the question, if your child is working at a lower level than stated in the national curriculum, so I'm going to use the one I showed in the video, for example, they're learning to count in 10 and your child is having difficulty in that area at home. So this is what your school will do. And then I'm going to tell you what you can do at home. So in school, what we will look at is different ways of supporting that child's learning. Is it a resource we can bring in that's going to help that child grasp the concept better? So do we need to if it's maths, do we need to give them concrete resources? If it's their handwriting, do we need to give them a pencil grip that's going to help them? Is it their attention? If it's their attention, do I need to bring in a sand timer and break the task into smaller steps? That way, because for a child, some children, if I've got a whole page and I give to you and say, write this whole page of handwriting. Let's say, for example, that child has ADHD, attentional deficit hyperactive disorder. That child looking at that page is going to say, oh my God, what am I going to do? This is a lot of work. So we'll break it into steps. We'll say, okay, do this one line of writing in 2 minutes. So for that child, all I need to do is this in this time. So that child, that task is achievable for them, and it's ensuring children feel like they can achieve things. You give a child a task that you know they can achieve and they'll be successful, and it's going to help them develop. Okay, so their child is still doing the handwriting, but the task has been broken down into achievable steps. And I'm not saying you leave it there. Once they do that bit in 2 minutes, you give them another 2 minutes. Now do this line. Another 2 minutes. Go on to the next line. Another 2 minutes. Do you see where we are going? So we're not saying this child, the work is easier for you. Here you go. You are looking for things and breaking it up for that child so it's more accessible for them. So again, at home, sometimes your child is thinking, oh, this is hard, and you feel like they can't do it. All it is you need to think, what's the difficulty and what's the need for the child? Is it extra resources they need to help them understand? Or is it the task being broken down into smaller steps for them to understand? And when I say special educational needs, I don't mean the child needs to be statemented by the local authority for your child to have special needs. Sometimes a child has a need in a certain subject. It might not be diagnosed, but you can see that my child is struggling in this area or with this concept. Don't keep pushing the same way you are giving the work to them. Okay, so if you are giving the work to them pencil and paper and they're struggling, does it need to be broken down, or do you need to bring in extra resources and other things where the learning will still be achieved, but the task will be easier and more accessible for the child? And accessibility is very important, because if a child can access the learning, they are going to do it. Thank you for that question. That was a brilliant question. So please keep the questions coming. So thinking about accessibility, my next thing I want to talk about is how to motivate and increase participation. Because again, I hear a lot of parents say, my child doesn't want to do this. My child doesn't like learning. My child finds this boring. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. But in school, your child goes and they listen and they take part in most cases. Pardon me. So how do we at home motivate our children and increase participation? Because they're so used to, you are mummy. You are not my teacher. You are mummy. Why are you suddenly telling me to do maths or do my homework or do my reading? I don't want to. They're not motivated enough to want to take part in the task that you are giving them or to do their homework. It's simply because structure is number one. Let's talk about structure. If you want to start supporting your pupil at home, please give them some structure at home. If you have to come up with a timetable, if it's a younger child, make it visual. Sometimes it can be just pictures. Picture, first we're doing maths, then we're going to do English. If they're even young, maths seem very broad to them. First we're going to write the date, next we're going to do the task, and then next thing is we're going to check our answers. Do you see? As long as that child, if the child is in secondary school, for instance, you can also give them a timetable. Older pupils can work with you to draft the timetable. So if your child is old enough and they're able to tell you what they would like to do, in collaboration with you, you can come up with a timetable or a schedule for what they are learning. It doesn't have to be a whole day schedule. Younger children could be just for 30 minutes schedule of what we are doing. 1 hour schedule or a whole day schedule if it's children in secondary schools or in college. We can adapt these things to help motivate and to increase participation. Because if that child knows this is what's coming first and next, they are not constantly thinking, what time is it? What are we doing next? When are we going to do this? When is auntie coming home? When are we going to the park? Because they are aware that after we do this, and then we might have a break here, then we may continue. So making sure we have a clear outline of a schedule is going to help increase their participation, especially if you've come up with that schedule together. Not just do this is what I'm telling you to do, so you must do this and you must do that. I'm afraid times have changed and our children are changing and they are hearing that they have rights. So some of them feel like they have rights. So when we do things in collaboration with them, sometimes you're really driving what you want that child to do, but you make them believe you have done it together in collaboration, and that will help increase their participation and their drive to want to do that task. So start with a timetable. So your parents, our homework this week is to think of a structure, something we can either do together or you could do it on your own first, get a rough idea of what you think your ideal is, and then review it together with your child. Another thing is reward and sanctions. Because in school, what do they have? Rewards and sanctions. At home, a lot of us, we have our way of managing the behavior, but in school, we have rewards and sanctions. So if you have clear rewards and sanctions at home as well, your child is able to also know that, okay, if I do this, this is my reward. And if I do that, this is the sanction, the consequence that I'm going to face. And having a reward doesn't need to be monetary. A lot of us think, okay, if you do this, I will buy you an iPad or a PlayStation 4. That's setting yourself up to fail, okay? Any good facilitator of learning doesn't give monetary rewards. For younger pupils, something like pasta, dry pasta that's not cooked. You can have an empty pot. Every time they do good learning, a pasta goes in the pot. And think about how quickly or how slow a pasta pot might fill up. If the child is very, very young, their attention span is quite low. So maybe a smaller pot and bigger pieces of pasta that you know, and be very giving. Oh, well done for this. Oh, well done for that. They are going to watch that pasta pot growing. When it's full, their reward might just be going swimming. Their reward might just be going to the park. Their reward might just be having a friend over to do some even more structured learning, like cooking at home, where you can implement measuring so they don't even know they're doing maths. So have a clear reward system. It could be a chart with stickers. So your child can clearly see, I'm getting stickers, and once my sticker reaches a certain level, I'm going to get a reward. Something that child knows they are working towards. And even as adults, if you know you are working towards a goal to achieve something, you are more motivated to want to do that thing. So please, let's give our children clear rewards and sanctions at home. And what do I mean by sanctions? Times have changed. I don't mean give your child a little snack. A sanction may simply be, because when they finish during the day, some people like to give their children TV time. A sanction will be actually that TV time is limited. It's limited to 5 minutes instead of your 30 minutes TV time. That's a sanction. A sanction might be playing on their iPad. You might limit the time they get to spend on that iPad. Their sanction might be that lovely visit they wanted to go on that walk to the park. That might be a sanction. So something not extreme, like you are not allowed to sit in the living room the whole day. Something you know your child will do, but it will hurt them a little bit, okay? And it will help motivate. But at all times, we lead with the rewards first. Because once children are constantly being rewarded, there's less likely that they will refuse to participate, and you'll be able to motivate them and increase engagement. So today is all about an introduction to homeschooling. So we've gone through sanctions and rewards now. Any questions with regards to that? Because I wanted to give you clear steps today to starting to teach your children from home. Any questions about that? I'm going to give you a few seconds. Keep the questions coming. So I'm going to read some comments as well so far. So we've got our sister Bernice who said, hello, madam. Hi, Bernice. Please visit our sister Bernice. She's got a YouTube channel as well. Bex Flavor's got a YouTube channel. Thank you for being here, Bex Flavor. Hi, Jennifer Chimisi. Hi, Boris DIY. Bernice Nunu saying she's loving this. So thank you, Bernice, who is loving this. Effia saying this is good. Thank you for the feedback. Thumbs up, says a dance instructor. So if you haven't given me a thumbs up, which is the like button, please click the like button, because it's important you click that like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please subscribe. If you haven't shared this, please share the link with other people who are going to benefit. And even though this live session is almost coming to an end, it's going to be posted on my YouTube channel. So when you share it, people are still able to open this video at a later stage and watch it. And if there's something I have shared here, this video will remain on my YouTube channel for you to always use as a reference. You can keep going back to, especially the route I showed you to accessing the national curriculum and the route I showed you to an example curriculum leaflet. So this video will be on my YouTube channel for your accessibility. So use it as a guide as well to starting. We've got Serlene who gave us an emoji, and she told us about the year 1, year 3 learning. Josephine is saying this is really good. Thank you, Josephine, for the feedback. This is the kind of feedback I like to hear. Thank you, says Celine. Sharon the Poker is giving us a thumbs up. Thank you for giving me the thumbs up, the like button. Thank you, Chima, saying you've done a great job. We had the question from Nessa. Glory Victor T saying, hello, host. Good evening, everyone. So good evening to you too. And, oh, Glory Victor saying, let's dance. Okay, let's dance, guys. So go and support Glory Victor on their YouTube channel, the Ajimine. But first, thank you for joining us, the Ajimine Buffer, Mr. and Mrs. Thank you. Thank you to your wife for the hair. So if whoever said nice hair, that's where you go. Thank you. Grace Smith is giving us a clap. So these are your feedback so far. So thank you very much for coming. And question and answer time. So I've spoken for a very long time. I am now giving you the platform to please ask me some questions. Anything about the national curriculum we looked at, curriculum leaflets we talked about, we've talked about behavior and sanctions, or what do you want to see in our next session? What I've got planned here for the next session is we are going to talk about how to support learning in English. So English is grammar, in handwriting, reading, and reading comes as word level reading and comprehension. So we're going to look at that. We are going to go and look at so what the national curriculum is telling us. And as a parent, there are certain ways you can teach reading at home. So there's a skill, we call it pedagogy in the teaching world. There's a way to teach certain subjects to maximize the learning of your pupils. So I'll be telling you this parents-friendly information that you can do at home for free, and also pointing you in the right direction of where you can get some resources to help you do that learning at home. So anything else you'd like me to cover next week? I'm going to give you a few more minutes here. Useful information, says Grace Smith. Thank you, Grace Smith. Anything else you want covered in the next session? Because we did have that great question from Nailed by Nessa. So I'm just giving you a few minutes to just add any more questions you may have on teaching your child and supporting their learning. Whilst you are here and whilst we're waiting for those questions come flooding in, check out my channel. If you haven't watched all the other videos there, share them. I do funny stuff and I do educational stuff, or some educationally funny stuff. So have a look, check my channel out, share things. So we will be back again next week, Sunday, 6 p.m. And thank you to the people who arrived early, because we start on time, exactly 6 o'clock on the dot. I will always be live 10 minutes to 6, so that's 5:50. I'm always live from then, where I will have the session outline displayed on the screen, and that's your chance to be able to tell me if you want me to add anything else to that session outline. So well done to the people who came in early and saw that session outline and were able to comment anything they wanted added to that session outline. So I'll be seeing you here next week at 6 o'clock. And before I switch off, I know the what you are seeing is a few seconds behind my speaking, so I'm going to give you a few minutes to answer any other questions we have. So we've got Bex Flavor saying, very well done, great information, useful as my little one starts school in September. So for little one starting in September, I'm assuming it's early years, so they'll be using the early years foundation scheme. So that's something that I will definitely incorporate into next week's session. So we will talk about early years and what you can do for a child who is really young, who are just starting school, because they don't follow the national curriculum. Theirs is learning through play. So I will give you some tips as well about how you can teach your child at home through play, because we know those ones, they won't sit down with a pen and paper. Well, some will, you'd be surprised. But there are other things, and there's a certain pedagogy, which is how to teach, that you can do at home to help them learn through play. So we'll be doing those. So I'm getting that yes, early years, excellent. Anything else? We'll give it a few more minutes. Please, I hope you are giving me the thumbs up, the like button. You are watching the other videos and you are watching them in full, because YouTube looks at how many minutes you're watching my videos, not because you've clicked and clicked off. like, comment, subscribe to Akua Dimples, share it with everyone on your socials. And I think we have a few more minutes. Yes, we do. We'll give a few more minutes. Any more questions? Any feedback? Please give me feedback about the session today. What did you think? Was I moving at a good pace? Did you like the pace? Do you need it slower? Do you need it faster? Do you need more of something I have done today that you want me to do again, so I don't take it out of next week's sessions, like the videos I incorporated? So let me know. Okay. You are a very polite audience. Right, we have one here. It says, from Joe, says, my son will be starting secondary school in September. Could you possibly discuss ways I can support him and help him prepare? Yes. So we've got a secondary school mum here starting in September. So different ways of preparing for secondary school. And this is to do with transition. So again, with Beck's Favour, whose child is also starting early years, and Josie's son is starting in September secondary school, there are ways of transitioning and preparing that child for transition, because it's a very big thing. Even all your children will need to be prepared for their transition, because September is a new year. So they're either making a big transition to a new school, or to big boy school, which is secondary school, or they're transitioning to a new year group. For a child, it's a very anxious time. We might take it for granted because we've been through it already, but for a child, it's a very anxious time. It's a new teacher, getting to know that new teacher and their way of doing things, or a new school, knowing what that school is about and their way of doing things. So definitely, we can discuss ways of supporting. And first of all, a way of supporting your child is go on the school's website and see their way of doing things. The schools will have timetables already for your child's day. It's something you might say, okay, this is what your day would look like, especially secondary school, because they're coming from primary, where you have the same teacher teaching you all the subjects. So they get used to that person. They know their teacher very well. They can predict their teacher's next sentence within a subject that the teacher is teaching. And then they go to secondary school, where you have different teachers for different subjects, and you're not in that same classroom and sitting on their favorite chair, which is their allocated seat. So they're not in that familiar environment where, and also in secondary school, in primary, they are the oldest in year 6, but now they are going to be the youngest in year 7, and how to manage other children who are bigger than them, especially bullying. So please, start with the website. Let your child know what the school day looks like. Visit the school if you can. Some schools have open days, or you can just go for a walk, so your child is familiar with the walk to school, whether they're going to school on their own. Do the walk beforehand with them. If they're going to school with their friends, is it something that you can organize with other parents, where you go to visit the school and do the walk with the children? That way, on the first day, because especially secondary school kids, they think they are much cooler now. They don't want mummy to walk them to school. So if you are willing to let your child go to school on their own in year 7, do the walk during the summer holidays where everyone's at home. So do the walk with them. Teach them how to cross the road, how to be aware of stranger danger. And there are so many videos on stranger danger, and I will share those with you next week. And I'll give you an excellent website for bullying and how a child can manage bullying, because they might experience that in secondary school, because we know the older children may treat them in a way that may make them feel sad, not intentionally, but for your child it may come across as bullying. So prepare them for that. So I'll be sharing those resources with you as well next week. So in the meantime, timetable, please do the transition walk with them to secondary school. And please, if your child is going to a different year group, you can show them the school's timetable as well. It'll be on the school's website. Even if the new academic year one isn't there, show them this current academic year, because sometimes they are very similar. The whole thing will not change. And they will meet, most schools will do meet the teacher. So your child will have a meet the teacher day and talk about the teacher, okay? Schools, you'd be so surprised that teachers, we have emails and you are allowed to email us. And as a parent, coming from my community, a lot of us stay away from the teacher, but that teacher has your child for a very long time of your day. Probably longer time than you spend with that child. If you have the teacher's email, and every year in September, you'll be surprised how many parents of children in my year group will email them, because it's something, they will email me and say, hi, I am this person's parent and this is my child. Sometimes the child has needs, they'll say, this is my child's needs, just be aware of this, be aware of that. You are paying me, basically. As a parent, you are paying the teacher. Your taxes, your extra work, whatever it is, your child is paying the school. You are paying that teacher. So if there's something you want the teacher to be aware of, there's no harm in also sending an email. So if it's a secondary school and you want to email that teacher, send an email out and say, hi, my child is starting with you. I want to discuss a few things with you. Can I book an appointment? Teachers cherish appointments. Don't turn up on a day at the door and say, excuse me, I want to talk to you, please. No, thank you. Email them. Send an email through and they'll be more than happy to answer any questions. Right, we have another question here from William. How do you ensure your child gets some social interaction while you homeschool them? Fantastic. Social interaction is very important. If your child has siblings, even more extra. However, if there aren't siblings at home, to incorporate social interaction, you can network with other parents that are in your child's school, or other parents within your community, like church, where you can form small little groups. And I have seen parents who have WhatsApp groups where it's 2, 3, 4 who sometimes come together and they teach the child. So they have smaller sessions. So for instance, the introduction to a topic. So I'm going to use something like measuring. Like we looked at the curriculum leaflets and the national curriculum. It says in year 1, children will be taught about measurements, how to weigh things. So your intro into that piece of learning will be, we are going to invite your 2 friends over and we're going to do some cooking. Something simple like we're going to bake cookies. Within that baking session, they'll weigh some flours, they'll weigh some sugar, and that session will allow them to be introduced to stuff like scales, how to read the scales, looking at the divisions. So for your child, that's an exciting thing, and they get to interact socially with other children. However, it's a big hook, and a hook really works with children. So if they know that's my hook into measurement, the unit of measurements, then they're going to be even more motivated to learn. They've had some social interaction with other children within their age group or in your community, and that's going to also enhance their learning further. Social interaction is key. So don't isolate your kids. Involve them with other children as much as you can. And at the moment, I know the pandemic, social isolation is a thing and it's real. So if you are a little bit apprehensive about people coming to your home, we've got so many apps now. FaceTime. So book a date, an online date with other children where they're going to cook. So they'll be doing it via FaceTime or other apps that I'm not being paid to talk about. But you can use these apps and they can interact socially that way through digital connections. But if you don't mind, social lockdown has been eased. Some families can come together, bring the children home, or take them to the park. If they're learning about money, your child can go with another pupil on a shopping trip. You give them £10. Today we're going shopping. You have £10 to spend. So they now have to think about money, £10. If they buy something for £1, how much change do they get? If they buy something for this, how much do they get? Through that, they're getting their bit of social interaction, but it's a learning experience. So that's how you can incorporate social interaction into your homeschooling. Thank you very much for that question. That was brilliant. And on that note, we are going to end here. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you have learned something. As I mentioned earlier, our next session is all about English. So we are going to go into depth. Today was a brief overview of starting. Next week, we are starting to zoom in further. We're going to look at English. We're going to unpick different elements of English. So I've had questions about primary. So I know we've got a primary audience, we've got some early years audience, so we'll look at different areas of learning and how you can maximize your child's learning at home within the English national curriculum and the early years framework of learning. And also key stage 3, key stage 4. If we've got anyone interested in secondary learning as well, we can look at that next week. So thank you. Give me a thumbs up on your way out. Like, comment, subscribe to my channel. And I know I've bombarded you with all this information, so if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, feel free to leave comments under this video later on. If you do remember a question you would like to ask me, you can always comment under this video, because I will be looking at them before our next session, and I'll be using all the information and questions asked there to help me plan and tailor our session to suit your needs. Go and watch some of my old videos. Go and laugh. Have a lovely Sunday, and thank you for joining me. And I'm going to stay here until you all disappear from this live video, just in case anyone has a question. God bless, and I'm going to do my outro. Kiss from this dimple. Kiss from this dimple. Akua Dimples is signing out. So when I see everyone's left this chat, I will also leave. It's rude for the host to leave before your visitors, so I'll let my guests leave first. Thank you for coming. Oh, wonderful session. Well done. Thank you, Paul Smith.
That was good.
Thank you, guys.
That was very good.
Oh, thank you, Margaret Sam. Thank you very much. I hope to see you next week, Margaret. Oh, babe, the sound is coming in. My guests are still online.
They don't want to go.
I'm sorry.
Babe, shh. Oh, and by the way, thank you to Nessa, who is here today helping me. If you want to get your nails done, I know mine look a little bit, please go and visit her on Instagram. It's
Nailed by Nessa.
nailed by Nessa. Okay, go and see her, get your nails done. If you see me with my nails done, it means that's where I went, so please go and visit her too. She's good. She can even come to you at home. Have you ever had that before? Nails done at home? No. Go and see her. So I'm still waiting for my guests to leave before I leave. My baba. Isn't he hot? We've still got 10 people online, so we'll wait. Maybe they want everyone to go and ask secret questions. So as your host, I will wait. I'll wait for you to grab that last bit of super malt before you make your way out. Go and watch my other videos, okay? Start with the prank if you want to have a laugh. Ha 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 ha. Or if you want to learn how to budget, manage your money, go and watch my video on budgeting. Budgeting. If you want careers advice, I have a video on how to secure the best career. Go and watch that. If you are single and you want the right man, go and watch my video about Mr. Right or Mr. Right Now. How to know if he's the right one. Go and watch that one too. I have videos for all. I still have guests online, so I will wait, okay? Oh, someone's saying hello. What do you do? Oh, was LQFY skeptic? Well, I'm guessing you were late, but I will be nice and polite. What do? I am a qualified teacher. I'm a special educational needs coordinator, and I mentor and training teachers. That's what I do. And today's session was all about how to start supporting your child at home and to homeschool. Okay? So that's what today's session was all about. So, hello skeptic. I'm seeing your message now. I know you're late, but that's fine. Better late than never. But I will see you next week. I'll be here next week Sunday at 6 p.m. So every Sunday 6 p.m. I will be here equipping you with some knowledge on supporting your child at home. So thank you for joining us late. But before you go, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a like, okay? Watch my other videos. Don't just click and disappear. Watch them in full, okay? And then I might return the love as well. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. We still have 9 people online. As your host, I am here for as long as you want, okay? Bernice Nunes said, oh, from your hair, I was thinking you are a hairstylist. Bernice, you know very well I'm not a hairstylist. But if anyone wants to know how to style their hair, especially lace frontals, go to Bernice's YouTube page. She lays that hair well. So go and see her. So skeptic, go to Bernice's page and see her as well. She's amazing. I still have 9 people online. Keep the comments coming if you do have any comments, any questions. Some people might be shy, so I'll wait. I'm your host, so I can't leave you on my channel like that. I'll stay here with you. Bernice. Bernice said if you want to grow, let's grow together. So if you want to grow your channel as well, go and support her and she'll come and support your channel as well. So go and see Bernice, okay? I love this girl. Go and grow with her. grow. She's a small YouTuber. I'm a small YouTuber. So support us. I've still got guests online, so we will wait. Bernice, who trivia guma me wo? Jogum. Oh my goodness, Bernice. Since we are here making sure everyone get home safe, yes. We all want to get home safely, so on your drive home, please visit Bernice. Still have 6 online, wow. I think some people are just enjoying watching me. So I'm going to be filming more videos tonight actually. So if you're here, let me give you gist of what's coming next on my channel. I'm going to do some story times as well about how to. I have a story time about a flight I went on and I nearly died, a near-death experience. So watch this space. I'll also be doing a video about different types of friends. I know there are different types of friends in our lives that we need to know, so I'll be sharing that one too. I'm actually filming today, so once all my guests have exited, I shall exit too and start my filming. I wish I could view who was online.
I know this one.
Well, actually, hold on, Vanessa. 1, 2. No, Paul isn't.
It's 2.
8. So now I have more people online. Now the session has ended. We've got more people joining us a little bit late. Unfortunately, the session has ended and all the guests have left. So as your host, I'm just waiting for all my guests to leave before I leave, because it's rude to just leave the session when it's over without all my guests leaving. Okay, so we've got a comment. We need more teachers like you, madam. Thank you very much. Teacher, please next time, no nice hair and makeup, so we will run to go. When your hair and makeup's nice, they listen more, they look at you more. So I'm glad it caught your eye, caught your attention. Teacher Smiths. Hey, I said my name. Teacher Dimples. So we've got 6 online still. I mean 7. We've got late people joining us. Unfortunately, the session has ended, so I'm just waiting for everyone to exit so I can also exit. There will be another one next week, okay? There are 9 people online. The session has ended. There are now 9 people online. Please come back next week at 6 p.m. Sunday at 6 p.m. I'll be here again. Today's session was all about how to start homeschooling. Unfortunately, you've missed it, but this video will be saved on my channel, so you will be able to watch it back to see what you missed out, because most of the people have logged out now. We've ended the session. So come back next week, Sunday. Unfortunately, you've missed, but this video will always be on my channel for you to watch. So I will see you again next week. can literally hear my tap going dip, 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 dip. I wish I had music on this thing. I could just play you some music and you could enjoy. Okay, now we have 6 people online. So people are slowly leaving now. Though I'm not kicking you out. You can stay if you want, but... You know those guests that don't get a hint? Some visitors, they come, they don't want to go home. They don't get a hint. You have to slowly ease them out. So now we've got 6 left that we are waiting to finish drinking your malt and go home, okay? I need to go home too. Me too. Babe. Two.
So it's still 4.
8 people online. Okay, so the session has ended and everyone has logged off. You missed the session if you're only joining us now. We had a session on homeschooling and how to start. We will be here again next week Sunday at 6 p.m. I'm just waiting for everyone to sign off so I can also sign off. But don't worry, the video will be saved. My son is even saying the same thing. The video will be saved on my channel so you can view it at a later date. Back to 6. Should I start singing for you? That might send you home. Have a lovely voice. My voice will definitely make you go. Wow, my son. It's like he knew when we were doing it, he didn't speak once, and now he's like... Here is Benny's. I don't have any plans, so I'm staying. You can stay, Benny's. Okay, we have 5 online. So let's say 2 unknown guests, because I think I know who the 3 are. Including Benny's, you are 3. I'm going to start singing, and then that always drives people away. What should I sing? Jehovah, you are the most high. You are the most high God. Jehovah, you are the most high. Hey. You are the most high God. Jehovah Elohim. Look at my son. My son's enjoying it. Jehovah Adonai. Oh, there are 6 people online. If you are coming online, the session is over. I'm just waiting for everyone. It's a flight. I'm just waiting for everyone. Sweetheart, check your WhatsApp.
Maybe that's why they're coming. They'll come in to tell you to check your WhatsApp.
8 people are online. The session finished a while ago. I'm just waiting for everyone to go offline. I'm going to maybe play. Let's go and see. What's on WhatsApp? I'm pretty sure if I click off this, it will be gone.
I'm on it now.
Oh, okay. On my